Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are just gonna have a chill day. I'm gonna do a bunch of bookish quizzes because that sounds fun. So grab a drink, grab a snack. Today I am drinking iced coffee from home to save money. But all of the quizzes will be linked in the description if you guys would like to do them along with me and see what your results are and how they differ from mine. Another fun game that we can play during this video is how long will it take for my lip gloss to be completely gone, because I don't think it will take very long. So in front of me I have a whole bunch of bookish quizzes, so we're just gonna get right into it. Some of them will give me different things based off of my personality. Some of them will be about how well I can guess books, how many books I've read from this certain category, whatever. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So this first one is about BookTok, all about BookTok. This is just how many BookTok books I have read. So let's see, this quiz was in 2021. We are now in 2024. How many BookTok books have I read? I've read ACOTAR, I've read A Little Life. I was gonna read All the Bright Places, but then I watched the movie and I took it off my list because I feel like that type of vibe is not what I'm into anymore as an adult. Me in high school probably would have eaten that book up, but I don't think I will ever read it. Moving down, I haven't read any of these. A lot of fantasy. I have read It Ends With Us, The Midnight Library, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I do have on my TBR. I really want to read that one. I like that Pride and Prejudice is listed as a BookTok book. No, I have not read it, but I like that it's listed as a BookTok book. Seven Husbands I've read. Silent Patient, not that great. I've read The Unhoneymooners. And I think that's it. Show me my results. I've read 7 out of 45, which is 48% more than, I've checked more than 48%. Hold on, they worded that weird. I have checked off more books than 48% of the other people that have taken this quiz. Okay. I don't know why I got so confused. Less TikTok, more reading. You spent some time on BookTok, but just haven't gotten around to all the books yet. Maybe it's time for a trip to the library or bookstore. Any reason is a good reason for a new book, right? I mean, yes. So that was BookTok books. Now we're gonna look at how many classics I have read, which probably will be even less. So we had 7 there. How many classics have I read? I've read The Great Gatsby. I've read 1984. Then it goes silent. Moby Dick, I think I read like part of. I'm not gonna count that because I don't remember anything. Lord of the Flies. Wow. Brave New World. Frankenstein. Dracula I've not read yet, but I do have the special edition sitting up there if you can see it, that I will be reading. Animal Farm. Oh my god, the page keeps jumping every time I click something. Secret Garden, I've seen the movie. Picture of Dorian Gray, I do want to read at some point. Of Mice and Men, I have read in high school. A Christmas Carol. Like, I know the story. I probably read it at some point, but I don't remember. And that's it. Let's see. So I've read the same amount, 7 out of 50. More than 15% of quiz takers. So the majority of the people that took this quiz read a lot more classics than I did. You haven't really gotten into the classics. You haven't read many of these books, but that's okay. You still have plenty of time to dig into these iconic stories. Just don't tell your old English teachers about your score on this quiz. So 7 from BookTok and 7 classics. I think that's really interesting. Moving on to the next quiz now. We are into children's books. If you've read 26 out of 38 of these books as a kid, you are definitely a bookworm. Let's see. I have read Rainbow Fish, The Giving Tree, Where the Wild Things Are, Cat in the Hat. I don't think I've read Corduroy. Charlotte's Web, Very Hungry Caterpillar, Green Eggs and Ham, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. Oh my gosh. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Oh, now it's slowing down a lot of these. Oh, I've read this one. That's weird. That unlocked like a memory for me. Like if you were to ask me about this book, I would have no recollection of it, but seeing that cover, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, Frog and Toad, my favorite. I didn't even know the Polar Express was a book. I don't know if that's bad. If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, have read that one. My boyfriend likes to use that against me because I ask him for one thing and then I ask him for a bunch of other things. So he always says that. If you give a mouse a cookie. Stella Luna, that looks familiar, but I can't say for sure whether I've read that or not. This little thing looks familiar. I feel like is that like a series, Little Critter? Because maybe I haven't read that specific one, but I know that like creature thing. It looks familiar. I don't know what else to say. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Clifford, I don't think I've read that, but I used to watch it a lot. So let's see. 14 out of 38, not that many. You didn't consider yourself a bookworm as a kid, but you read your fair share of popular books. To you, The Rainbow Fish most likely defined your childhood. I think one of my favorite childhood books was, wow, and I can't remember what the heck it is. I have it. It's like the Fox and the Hen. So this is the book that I was thinking of, Rosie's Walk, which is this little chicken walks around and the fox is trying to get her, but he doesn't ever get her. Anyways, I just love that. I love the illustrations in that book. I still have a copy. It's falling apart, but I still have it. Okay, moving on. This is what classic book matches your personality and what does it have to say about you as a person? This will be interesting because as we have learned, I have not read a lot of classics, so I don't know if I will even understand the answer. Choose a Disney movie. You know, I'm not the biggest Disney fan, I'm not gonna lie. I think out of this, I've only seen The Little Mermaid and The Lion King. So maybe I'll go with The Little Mermaid, I don't know. Which image calls to you the most? Probably this one, out here in the mountains. I do like concerts too, but I don't know, that looks more like ravey than the type of concerts that I attend. Choose a pet. Dog, snake, bird, cat, or horse. I love dogs, love birds, love cats. Never had a snake, but they're pretty cool. Never had a horse, but they're pretty cool. But right now I have 2 cats, so I guess I will choose cat. Pick a genre. They always leave horror out of things, I swear. It's like places forget that horror is a genre, a very well-loved genre. Historical fiction, definitely not that one. Romance, comedy, fantasy, or thriller. I guess I'll go with thriller because that's the closest I could get to horror, but petition for more places to include horror as a genre because, like, it's a genre. Okay, now we are into pick a color. Red, yellow, blue, violet, or green. I am going to pick green, and that's a nice picture. Choose something to snack on. Donuts, french fries, strawberries, pizza, or chocolate. Probably french fries with some Frank's hot sauce. And lastly, choose a beautiful sky. I do like this one, the stars. I like this one. This one's cool too. I'm gonna choose this one because it's like pink and the clouds and stuff are pretty. Okay, 100 Years of Solitude. Have not read it. You're adventurous and enjoy exploring. You're sometimes a contradiction. You enjoy being a homebody and having a strong foundation, but also nothing brings you as much joy as how much of the world there's left to explore. You're definitely a people person, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're famous someday. Be warned of the self-fulfilling prophecy, however, and please don't marry your aunt. I'm assuming that is a reference to the book, which I have not read, have heard of, think the cover is really pretty, but I feel like it would be really difficult to get through. Like, it feels like it would be like a slog of a book. So I don't know. You guys tell me if it's worth it to read it or not. Okay, moving on. That was a classic literature book. This is a classic literature heroine. These 7 questions will determine which literary heroine best matches your personality. I may or may not know who this person is that it actually gives me in the end. Let's see. Which genre? Once again, where is horror? Romance, sci-fi, fantasy, mystery, poetry, coming of age, young adult. You know, another thing that bothers me is when like sci-fi and fantasy get grouped into the same category. Like that really bothers me because there's a big difference between fantasy and sci-fi. And they're both good at times, but I'm definitely more of a sci-fi girly, so I hate when I am like looking for a sci-fi book and I have to scroll through like a million fantasy books to get there. That was a really random side rant. But with that being said, I'm going to choose that because more for the sci-fi rather than the fantasy. But they're grouped together, so I don't really have a choice. Choose a modern day interpretation of a classic text. Clueless, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, Easy A, 10 Things I Hate About You, Pretty Women, Cruel Intentions. There is one obvious answer here, and it is 10 Things I Hate About You. And it's funny because I remember the first time I watched that movie was in 8th grade, and we watched it after reading The Taming of the Shrew. So, pick a line from a book you read in AP Lit. I did not take AP Lit. I took AP US History just because, like, the teacher was chill. And then I took AP Psych as well, but no AP Lit. Could I tell you what any of these quotes are from? No, but I'm going to choose this one that says, "What are men to rocks and mountains?" Because, I don't know, I like it. Pick a celebrity who's known for their period pieces. There are a lot of names that are difficult to pronounce, but I'm gonna go with Saoirse Ronan because I genuinely don't know. Well, I know these two, but I don't know any of these other people. Sorry. I don't watch period pieces, so that's why. If your life was a novel, choose an adjective to describe your character. Alluring, timid, curious, bold, charming, or headstrong. I'll go with curious. Curious George. Finally, choose an estate for your story to take place. Grand and Green Estate, Cozy, column-adorned chateau, Fountain Wonderland, Regal and Traditional Manor, Historic Castle, or the Mysterious Abode. I'm gonna go Green and Grand. Why not? Oh, and I am Jo March from Little Women. Is that only because I chose Saoirse Ronan? I'm a little sus about that. Tradition and status quo be damned. You march to the beat of your own drum and defy all norms that are placed on you by others. I really think that it just matters like which person you choose, because I don't know if that description matches my other answers, but whatever. Moving on. Okay, here's a fun one. This is, what are your bookish red flags? Let's see, because honestly I have no idea. So I'm very curious to see what it'll say. Your current read isn't really work for you. You already DNF'd it. That's not me. Will console yourself by buying a new book. Not me. Wish it could be me. Probably just need to come back to it later. Muddle through it because you are no quitter. Or will pick it up next time you can't sleep. Your current read isn't really working for you. Well, see, that's kind of like, I can't really like give one answer for this question because it depends. Like sometimes it is like me and not the book, and I just have to put it down and come back later. But sometimes it is the book, but I also like, I try to give it like 100 or so pages before I DNF. I'm gonna say muddle through because you are no quitter, because even if that means muddle through the first 100 pages and then DNF, like I'm still gonna give it a try. When do you take, oh my god, I can't read. When do you take your reading breaks? At the end of a chapter, when you've fallen asleep reading, whenever you don't like reading anymore, finish a book in one sitting kind of person, when the story is starting to get confusing or too heavy. I am not a finish a book in one sitting kind of person. I have done that before, but normally like I need to take a break. Even with novellas, like I plan out a little fiver for myself. At the end of a chapter, yes, but not at the end of every chapter. But then also whenever I don't feel like reading anymore. I'll say at the end of a chapter, because I don't stop in the middle of a chapter. So sometimes I'll be like, I'm kind of over it, but then I'll still wait till the chapter's over. I'm like thinking way too hard about this right now. Where do you keep your TBR? It is right behind me. It's on the same bookshelf, but it has its own space. So I guess it would be here. I don't have a book cart. I would love to get one in the future so I can have more space on my shelf for the actual books that I have read. But right now it is in a designated space on my shelves. When you visit a bookstore, I make a budget beforehand and stick to it. Always say you're not going to buy anything, but always come out with books. Have no trouble leaving empty-handed. Make a budget and forget about it as soon as you walk in, or spend hours and hours there deciding what to buy. I am a little combination. I make a budget and stick to it, but I also have no trouble leaving empty-handed. If there's not anything that looks appealing to me, I'm not going to buy something just to buy something. But generally, I would say make a budget and stick to it. A friend lends you a book. You return it as soon as you're done, start reading it immediately, forget to read it for months, somehow manage to wreck it and have to buy your friend a new one, or return it in pristine condition. If a friend lends me a book, this is a tricky one because like multiple things can apply. Like I return it in pristine condition, I return it as soon as I'm done with it, and usually we'll start reading it right away because like I would have asked them, hey, can I borrow this book because I want to read it right now. I'll just say return it as soon as you're done with it. I have never been that person, except one time in high school, my friend lent me one of her books to read, and I was reading it in the bath and I dropped it. Not the whole thing, but like the bottom part of it, I dropped it in the water. It was fine. It dried okay. Like, I don't think you could tell anything was done to it, but I was like, whoops. But normally, I'm pretty good about taking care of books. And obviously, if it was entirely destroyed, I would have bought a new one. Anyways, return it as soon as you're done with it. Now it's your turn to lend a book to a friend. I have no trouble lending books, but definitely want them back. Would rather get a copy than lend out my own books. Forget all about the book, not me. Keep a list with all the books you've lent and who has them, or you won't rest until you get it back. I would say I have no trouble lending books, but definitely want them back. It really depends, I feel like, who you're lending them to, because sometimes people will hold on to them for a really long time and other times people won't. Like, it depends. Like, you have to know the person that you're lending that book to. Have you ever bought a book that you already owned? No, more times than you care to admit. Yes, but on purpose. Yes, but you only wanted a digital copy. You don't think so, but it's plausible if you did. I have not. I don't think I have, but I do have plans to, because I have some of my like top tier all-time favorite books and I want to get a second copy of those and have one copy annotated and one copy blank. I don't know if that's weird, but no, right now I don't think I own any duplicates, but I would in the future. So I guess I'd say yes on purpose. Are you a library user? Absolutely. You get more books from the library than brand new. Yes, 100%. Also, this usually bring home a very optimistic amount of books. But I would say like 95% of the time I do read everything I check out from the library. Do you have a monthly budget for books? No, because I don't have money for that. Your ideal bookish date would be meeting for coffee at a bookshop, cafe, bookstore crawl, favorite author event, visit each other's favorite bookshop, buying a mystery book for each other, bring your favorite books to a park, exchanging them, and spending the afternoon reading them together. All of those sound great, but I'd probably say meet for coffee at a bookshop, cafe, and probably bring a book with. Choose a book trope. Enemies to lovers, stuck together, fake relationship, forbidden love, or soulmates. Probably soulmates. I am a sucker for that, and I really, really love like romance books where you can feel the relationship coming through. What do you love the most about books? Getting lost in them for hours on end, talking about them with other people, getting to learn more about the world and about other people's experiences through them, the pure joy they bring you, the comfort they give you, especially favorite stories. Like all of that? Maybe I'll say this, getting lost in them for hours on end. Okay, my results from the quiz. You DNF like there's no tomorrow is my bookish red flag, which I don't really agree with, because literally, like I said at the beginning, like I try to give a book at least 100 pages before DNFing, so I don't know why it gave me this. Life is too short to read books you don't like, so embrace that DNFing soul. I do agree. Okay, now we have which thriller trope are you? This will be interesting. Which popular thriller novel is your favorite? I have only read 2 of those. I do want to read Rebecca. Is it weird if I pick Rebecca even though I haven't read it yet? I'm gonna do it anyways, whatever. Aside from thrillers, what other genre do you love? Horror, thank you for including it. How do you feel about plot twists? The more the better, as long as it's earned, it's okay. I hate surprises. I would say the more the better, but not like so much that it gets ridiculous. Do you like scary stuff? Absolutely. Let's get random. Pick an animal. I'm gonna pick a raccoon. Why not? What color speaks to your soul? Black, red, purple, blue, or yellow? Why is this so hard? I'm gonna go with yellow. If you were fruit, which one would you be? Ooh, mango. I like mangoes. Choose a famous detective / amateur sleuth. I have no idea. If you were in a thriller, which character would you be? The murderer, the victim, the one trying to figure out what's going on, the shadowy figure who turns out to be totally chill, or the cat who's just there for atmosphere? I'd probably be this one, the shadowy figure who turns out to be totally chill. I don't know why. How many thrillers do you read in a year? I think last year I read like 20 something thrillers. I guess a good portion of the books I read are thrillers. So the trope I would be is the locked room. Someone has been murdered and you're stuck in a locked room or secluded cabin in the woods or remote island, but you get the idea. Someone here is a murderer, but who? And are you next? This thriller trope has you written all over it. That is a trope that I enjoy. I've read a lot of locked room thrillers. This is a quiz with a million freaking ads on it, but I guess I just have to guess the books based off this little portion of their cover. There's 24, and I guess there's a 6-minute timer. So let's try that. That first one, I don't know, but the second one is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I don't know if it's gonna get funky with spelling. Okay. That one with the guy, I don't know. I think the rabbit is Watership Down. Then we have The Great Gatsby, Where the Wild Things Are. Sorry if the keyboard's really loud. Those next two, I don't know. Then we have Aragon, Charlotte's Web. Don't know. That looks like Stephen Hawking. If I type in Stephen Hawking, will something happen? No. Catcher in the Rye. Horse, don't know. That one, don't know. The Little Prince. I don't know what that one is. And then we have Jurassic Park. Did I spell that correctly? I think that's like everything that I'm gonna guess. So let's give up and see what it tells me. Angela's Ashes, never heard of. Atlas Shrugged, never heard of. Prophet, A Million Little Pieces. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. A Brief History of Time. Okay, I couldn't remember. I was like, I know that he has a book, but I couldn't remember what the title was. She's Come Undone. Oh, that's Lord of the Flies? I've never seen that cover for Lord of the Flies. Interesting. Where the Red Fern Grows. The Lost Symbol. Where the Sidewalk Ends. Black Beauty. That went through my head, but I was not sure. The Devil Wears Prada and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I feel like I definitely could have been better if I took more time doing it, but I was trying to do that quickly. A lot of these, though, I have never heard of. But I got a 38%, and the average score is 45%, so I wasn't that bad. 9 out of 24. How well do you know your horror literature? Honestly, I don't think this will go well because I'm sure that they are classic books. Who was the author of Dracula? That was Bram Stoker. Yeah, you don't have to tell me I'm right. I already know. Who wrote the popular ghost story, The Haunting of Hill House? Shirley Jackson. This all gonna be, okay. American Psycho, a Wall Street broker. That's what he is, right? Yeah. The first American serial killer. That's funny. Joel Hill, the author of Horns, among other novels, is the son of which famous horror author? Joel? I thought his name was Joe. Okay, yeah, Joe Hill. So how come the question says Joel? They're trying to throw you off with that. Which of these novels was released in 1971? Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, Legion, or The Omen? I feel like Rosemary's Baby and The Omen were pre-71, so I want to say The Exorcist. I got that right. Hell yeah. Who wrote Interview with a Vampire? Anne Rice. That was a lucky guess. What is the full title of the horror novel written by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley? Oh my god, I can't. I have read Frankenstein too. I don't think it's The Pursuit of God, and I don't think it's Science of the Gods. I'm gonna say Or the Modern Prometheus. Yes! I'm good. What was Stephen King's first novel? The Shining? Oh! Carrie was my second guess. Clive Barker's The Hellbound Heart was adapted into which film? I have never read Clive Barker, but using context clues, I got the answer. Max Brooks' World War Z is about zombies. Okay, I like that the picture is from Amityville Horror, so it's obviously Amityville Horror. Who is considered to be the founder of cosmic horror? H.P. Lovecraft. Which author's book was read on the radio and led to widespread panic for fear that it was real? That was H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. The Freudian concept of duality is explored in this Robert Louis Stevenson story. I have no idea. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Even though Hyde is spelled incorrectly. Which Washington Irving novel features the Headless Horseman? Sleepy Hollow. Oh, I'm good. 15 out of 20. I did pretty good on that, honestly. Better than I thought I would. Okay, and last but not least, we have this quiz. Would you survive a horror novel? I don't know. Let's find out. Where is your horror novel set? A gothic mansion, a summer camp, an abandoned building, or a new home? I love summer camp settings. Definitely summer camp. Are you alone there? Probably not, if I'm at a summer camp. What are you doing there? Visiting friends or family? Investigating? I'm on vacation. I just moved in. I'm on vacation. Shortly after you arrive, you glimpse a mysterious figure. The place is haunted. It must be a person, but why are they lurking? Had to be a trick of the light. I would probably be like, I was weird. Like, it's a person. A few days in, the mysterious figure reappears and starts to chase you. Your first instinct is fight or flight. Probably flight. You escape for now, but you finally glimpse your antagonist, and it's a ghost, some other paranormal creature, or someone in a mask. I like paranormal creature. You tell your friends about the thing that's chasing you. How do they react? They tell you it's probably in your head. They don't say it out loud, but you can tell they're doubtful. It seems like they believe you, or they offer to help catch it. I would hope that they would believe me, at least a little bit. It's been a few days and a body has appeared. Who was the first victim? Hopefully a stranger. Hopefully it wasn't somebody I knew. The mysterious figure strikes again and it's a full chase now. Where do you try to hide? So would I hide inside of a locked room, outside in the woods, under a bed, or inside a closet? Probably not in a closet and probably not under a bed. I guess it would really depend. If I'm in a summer camp, hopefully there would be like a lot of different cabins around, so maybe I could close myself in somewhere and wait. But there also would be a lot of outside space, so I don't know. Especially if you're hiding in the woods, like it would be harder to find you, I feel like, but then you also might just get lost. So I'll say inside a locked room and hope for the best. Will you try to get help? No, I don't want to endanger my friends. No, I don't need it. Obviously, yes, I would. You found something to defend yourself with. What is it? A big knife, salt, a huge machete, or some other specific weapon? Let's say a machete, because why not? This is your last stand, and survival is sometimes up to fate. So we'll flip a coin. You choose heads or tails. In coin flips, I always choose tails, so we're going tails. You lived! Yay! You stuck with your friends. There is strength in numbers, and that's why you would survive a horror novel. Well, that's good to hear. So, I don't know what this tells us about me today, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, I will see you guys next time.